Hey boys and girls, welcome to another super exciting, outrageous toy review. Today we're taking a look at the 1982 and 1983 versions of Cobra Commander from G.I. Joe. In 1982, when Hasbro decided to relaunch their G.I. Joe action figure line in a much smaller scale that could compete with Star Wars, they met with Marvel comic book writer Larry Hama to help create the universe. Looking at these generic army toys, Mr. Hama asked the people at Hasbro, well, who are they going to fight? They hadn't thought of it, and quickly somebody came up with the idea of Cobra. And the people at Hasbro went to work on some nameless, faceless characters for the G.I. Joes to fight. They were led by Cobra Commander, this sinister-looking military character in a blue uniform with a silver face shield. There's actually two main releases of the 1982 Cobra Commander. This one is affectionately known by fans as the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. And this one is just the regular Cobra Commander. If you look at the symbols on their chests, I think you can see that one has the familiar Cobra logo we're used to, and the other one has a very bizarre one, and the eyes on it tend to look like Mickey Mouse ears. Cobra Commander's earliest releases were as a mail-order figure. You could mail away from card backs of G.I. Joe action figures to get him, as well as ordering him from a Sears catalog with a Cobra base and some other action figures. These early mail-away samples seem to be where the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commanders came from, and then the better logo ones replaced them later on and were available on card backs, to the best of my knowledge. As I mentioned before, Cobra Commander has this blank face. He could be anybody. It's very sinister, it's very unsettling. He's got a blue helmet, he's got a blue military vest with some belts on it, blue sleeves, and these regal pants with red stripes going down them, and spats over his boots. He's even got what kind of seems like a ceremonial dagger on his leg there. Maybe it's just a K-bar. But he's a cool figure. This is the 1982 straight arm figure. It has no articulation point above the elbow here, and the shoulder joints are a little funny looking. I always found that was the most obvious, first place to look when I first was collecting G.I. Joes. I would just look at the shoulder there. This is the back of a swivel arm figure. It has this curve on the straight arm figure as well as kind of this slit on the side. It looks like it's made of two halves instead of thirds. On the back of Cobra Commander's uniform, there is this really funky techno bit. It does not have any paint apps on it, but it is a cradle. Some people even say a charger for his laser weapon. It's really cool that it fits in there. I don't really know why. Kind of a cool engineering feat. It does hang in there really nicely. I always thought it was really awesome as a kid, and it's a pretty cool gun, although people make fun of it for being a hairdryer. This character has minimal paint apps with a little bit of silver, a little bit of black, and a little bit of red, but I think it's very effective. It is interesting that they made the Commander a much lighter color than the Cobra Trooper and Officer, who are a darker blue. In 1983, they released the same figure again, this time with the swivel arm battle grip. And here I can rotate his arm to show you the swivel arm battle grip. These guys are old and kind of fragile. You got to be careful with them. The plastic is over 30 years old, so you don't want to go twisting them too hard. Some of the guys that have been played with a little bit more are a little easier to work with. So this Commander here, which I showed briefly a second ago, this guy I'm less worried about breaking. He just moves pretty easy. He's a little bit more played with. His coloring is very different because he's basically sun damaged. He's lived a hard life. But his paint is in pretty good shape. I actually found this really nice blue one at a toy show and picked him up even though his helmet's messed up, because I was going to do a helmet swap to try and get a nicer looking swivel arm Commander, and then I didn't have the heart to do it because this one has been in a lot of video work I've done. The collector show on this channel on Wednesdays is called Action Figure Adventures, and that's a tribute to a stop motion animated series I did in college. Let's say Toy Story in a college dorm room would be the quickest summary for it. And Cobra Commander was one of the three lead villains, and I think one of my favorite characters in the series.
Idiot! What kind of bad guy are you? Show some pride! Come, my cohorts! Let us prepare our attack! Eradicate them! What is this?
An imposter, Commander. What did you call me?
This is magnificent! With two ninjas, we're unstoppable! It's time to prepare our attack. There's nothing to worry about. You know by now that their pathetic plans always fail. Come down here, you sissies, and settle this once and for all.
We can't open the door to escape, and there aren't enough of us anymore to beat them in a fight. I don't know what to do.
Prepare to be dismembered!
Hope you enjoyed that clip, and that is basically the reason why I can't get rid of this Sunbeat version or put his head on this nice blue one that has a messed up face mask. I just can't bring myself to do it. Time to go back to this Mickey Mouse Commander, because kind of like my sun-damaged Cobra Commander, I have a story about this Cobra Commander. I counted up all my G.I. Joes when I was about 12 years old and realized I had about 220 figures, counting some of the doubles. I had a few army builders, like 2 Eels and 2 Vipers, and I really set the goal then of trying to collect all the G.I. Joes. And I didn't really know how many there were yet. The internet wasn't a thing, so I couldn't just look it up. Mark Belomo's book wasn't out yet that showed all the classic Joes. So I just started actively collecting them and just trying to find out from the pamphlets and things like that which figures existed. And along the way, I found out about the straight arm Cobra Commander, and then eventually the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander. And I wasn't real super worried about getting the Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander because I was collecting on a budget. I was a high school kid and a college kid. I ended up going to JoeCon in Florida in the early 2000s with my family. And while we were there, one of my missions was to try and get a straight arm Cobra Commander. And I went around from booth to booth asking people if they had it. And I took a couple of other straight arm figures with me because I was going to try and trade to cut down the cost a little bit. You know, I have a straight arm Flash. Can I give you some cash kind of thing? And I couldn't find one. And so my sister knew I really was looking for that. So she started going around on eBay looking for a straight arm Cobra Commander for me. And one day she sent me this line of text and asked me, is this the figure you're looking for? And I said yes. It said 1982 straight arm Cobra Commander. But I could tell it was an eBay description, so I copied and pasted that text in eBay, and I found that she was the winning bidder, or the top bidder so far, on a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander that wasn't listed as a Mickey Mouse Cobra Commander, and I was so excited. So I actually started following the item because I knew she didn't know the additional value of it, just like the seller didn't know the additional value, and I figured I would swoop in and buy it if she was going to lose it at a really good price. So I knew she won it, and on Christmas morning, I acted surprised when I opened him up, and then I confessed the truth that I watched her win it on eBay, and then told her that she got me an amazing Christmas present, and went on about with the story of it, and she was blown away. And I've actually had to tell that story a couple different times on Christmas morning. About one of the best surprises I ever got. Later on, you know, as you can tell, I did pick up the regular straight arm Cobra Commander. And I'm really excited to have all the different versions. It's kind of unnecessary, but as a huge Joe fan, you gotta get them all, you know. It's no race to get a full collection, but eventually, you know, you break down and you're like, alright, well, I need the variants that are important. I need this, I need that. And Cobra Commander is just such a classic character. He's in, like, every episode of the cartoon show. He's in lots of issues of the comics, although in the comics he doesn't wear the helmet as much as I feel like he does in the cartoon all the time. He's a cool character. I don't know how you have a Joe collection without him. I never had him as a kid. Wanted any version of Cobra Commander so bad. I used to pretend Lamprey was the helmeted Cobra Commander in battle. I just had the mail-away hooded Cobra Commander, which was really cool too. The battle helmet was just something special.
I'll spit on your graves!
Thanks for watching this super exciting, outrageous toy review. In the comments down below, let me know what your favorite thing about Cobra Commander is. Check out the playlist off to the side with the Action Figure Adventures show if you liked that clip of my stop-motion animation work. And thanks for checking out this video.